to decorate with me. This is a huge decorate with me. It's pretty much the whole bottom floor of the house. And we've got a lot going on, lots of new stuff, as you can see, because look at all those brand new ornaments. We are doing some things very, very different this year, really trying to like class the place up a bit. And specifically, we have changed the color scheme. So if you've watched my videos before, you know we're typically like red and white candy canes, and this year we're going for red and gold and really focusing on things like make the house look nice and elevated. So we've got lots of plaid, lots of gold, just all sorts of things all throughout this decorate, and that's why it took me like 3 weeks to film this, but it is really worth it. I am loving how the place turned out. So first of all, we're gonna start with the tree, and with the tree I have new ribbons. So I have this gold and then I have this plaid, and we're gonna put the ribbon into the tree. So basically I just take equal amounts, usually like, I don't know, 18 inches to 24 inches. I'm not actually counting. And then I just basically shove it into the tree. I like mine to have like 2 loops per cut ribbon wise, and so I have shoved the top part into the tree, and this middle wasn't staying super well. Sometimes, especially with these flocked trees, you can just like shove it in and it'll be fine, and that's what I did here. With the wired ribbon, you can kind of bend, and that helps quite a bit. And if you're doing the double ribbon thing, I highly recommend you pull the ribbons apart a little bit. It just makes it wider and easier to see. So here we have more and more ribbon. And sometimes I will say that as you are doing this, it sometimes is hard to get them to stick. So this tree especially, it's actually pretty easy, but some of the other trees was much harder. So if you're having a hard time getting your ribbon to stay, first of all, make sure it's wired ribbon. Secondly, you can take a branch and kind of like wrap the branch around the ribbon, or you can wrap the ribbon around the branch, and also you can thread them through the lights. You're probably not supposed to do that, but I did that a lot on the upstairs tree. I just like thread it through the light like wire, and listen, it works. So go for it. With this ribbon, I am cutting like sections, and then I'm basically going from the top of the tree across. I like to go across the tree and not straight down. I just think visually it's a little more appealing. And so all the ribbons are going the same direction, but some are at more of a steeper angle than others. And I try not to have the like parts coming out of the ribbon, I don't know, like bubbles. What are we calling those? The little bubbles of ribbon. I try not to have two that look exactly the same. So you can see here how the one on the left is up higher than the one on the right, because you just don't want it to be too symmetrical or it just looks a little bit weird. So that's kind of how I do the ribbon. And I will say ribbon makes a huge difference. I also will say I'm loving this ribbon in particular. Here's where I wrapped a branch around it, and here's where I wrapped it around the branch. And so I love ribbon, and I really like this ribbon. Last year we had the red and white theme, and I loved the red because it popped really well, but the white just kind of blends in with the flocked tree, and so it just wasn't as good. But the gold is still like not in your face, but it is really pretty. After all the ribbon was on, we moved on to the biggest ornaments, and so here you can see where I placed them. For these, I really try to go in like a triangle shape across the Christmas tree. So you see I went like back and forth and back and forth. And as I'm putting them up, that's really what I'm thinking. So I'm like, okay, start at the top, put one on, and then like we zigzag across. Next up, I'm doing the most interesting ornaments. So you can see here, I'm kind of like triangulating where my next ornament's gonna be. I know that sounds so weird. I probably put way more thought into this than I ought to, but I really do. I think through all of it, and it just helps make it look really good. So I just kind of triangulate. I say like, okay, there's one, there's one, there's one, and that helps me figure out where we have a hole. I try to never put them in a straight line down or across if I can help it. And again, if we can just have those like kind of going across the tree, it will make it look much better. Next up, I have, even more of the interesting ornaments. Basically, I'm going from biggest to smallest, or most interesting to smallest. Then I went through our ornament box. This is from the years past, and kind of pulled out the ones I wanted to use for this tree. Some of them went upstairs. Some I just got rid of because I just really didn't like them anymore, because, it's been a few years. We started this starting in maybe 6 Christmases ago, so it's been a while. Next up, I have picks this year. I've never done picks in a Christmas tree, and listen, I am here for them. They make it look so much more full and just so much more interesting because they're not round. They kind of stick out of the tree, and you basically just shove them in, and that's it. So next year, I will be getting more picks for the tree because I just really like the look of them and how it kind of breaks it up. So I got 3 different kinds of gold picks, and I think I got 6 of each. In general, if I'm looking for Christmas tree stuff, I typically do multiples of 3. So 3, 6, 9. I have 6 of those big ornaments. I have 6 of each of the picks, and so on and so forth, because then you can, again, make a triangle and it looks very visually appealing. You can see here I'm triangulating where I'm going to put these picks as well, because, you know, it just makes a really big difference. After I do the picks, I'm going to go through with the rest of my ornaments, and I'm basically just going to use them all as filler. So smaller ornaments and things like that, I'm less concerned about making triangles and going across and all of that kind of stuff. And instead, I'm much more concerned about just basically plugging in all the holes in the tree. So if I'm like, there's a big like dark spot right there, that's where I'm going to put the ornaments. And just if you can see something is obviously missing, that's where they're going. All the new ornaments we got, all the gold ones are from Hobby Lobby, and then these are gold pine cones from Big Lots of all places. I am obsessed with them. We ended up going back and buying a whole new set because I love them so much. And then we got those red ones from, I think they're also from Hobby Lobby. I really like those red ones because they're a deeper red than the ones we had. The ones we already had were like a bright red, and I used those, but it was nice to have like the brighter red and then also the deeper red. It just kind of gives it more darker tones. And I would say if you're doing a flocked tree, get some darker ornaments because it makes a huge difference. If it's all too similar in color, it's not fun. Next up, we're making a bow for the top of the tree. For this, I just took the ribbon that I had already used. I cut, again, 18 to 24 inch pieces, and then I put them in a circle and stapled them. You could also hot glue. I mean, you could sew if you really wanted to, but stapling was much easier and you don't have to wait for anything to dry. So that's why I went with that. And I went through and did that with both the gold and the plaid and ended up with 6 of these different loops. I think I might end up redoing this because I like it, but I feel like it's not quite as good as it could be. But for now, here's what we have. So I took all 6 loops and I just laid them kind of flat on top of each other. And then once I did that, I took a pipe cleaner and I just took it in the middle and bent it so that it was holding it all together. It also makes a nice little hook so you can hook it to the top of the tree. And then I just take all of those little loops, and since they're all wired ribbon, I just move them around until it makes the shape that I am interested in using. So just kind of fluff them up and move them around. I think if I do redo them, I'll put the gold underneath the plaid like I did on the tree, and so end up with 6 gold and 6 plaid, and maybe make the loops a little bit smaller. I think they're closer to 2 feet. I think they need to be closer to 18 inches, but for now it's working and I do like the effect of it. We like using bows and ribbon as our tree topper because this tree is humongous. We got it last year and it is 9 feet tall and our ceilings are 9 feet tall. So we literally can't fit anything on top of the tree. So something like this can attach to the top of the tree, but it's not sticking up at all. And so it makes it really good. So here's how my bow turned out. And let's go put it on top of the tree. Oh, it's officially Christmas. Side note, when do you think it is officially Christmas? Like, what is the thing that makes it Christmas? I can't decide if it's for me like choir concerts for Christmas or if it's like the day I bake cookies. I guess it should be when the tree goes up, but it's really not. Anyway, here's the final look at the tree. I am obsessed with it, and now that it's done, we can move on to the whole rest of the house because that took hours and hours and hours over 2 days. So next up, we are adding more trees. So these alpine balsam firs that I have in the back are from Target. They are separate, but they go together. So like you don't buy them as a set, but they do go together. They're super cute. I love them. I've had them for a few years, so I'll see if they still have them. I'm not sure. But I have 2 on one side and 1 on the other. So I did tall, small on one, and then medium on the other. And this year we have more trees. So I found these matching alpine balsam firs also from Target. These do come as a set, and it's 3 of them. They're much smaller and they're in like a red pot, and I thought that would really help because we always have the problem of what do we put at the bottom of these trees. So the fixed my problem very, very well. So over here I'm doing 3 on each side, and so I did the medium one on the left and then the tall and the small on the right, and that way they're like same but different. Each side isn't completely symmetrical, but they're similar and they're along the same vein. I recently heard, it was on a movie, so you know, I don't know how accurate this is, but they said symmetry in design is just latencyness. So here we are being non-symmetrical. So the big trees are plugged into the wall. I put them onto our little clickers so that I can just click them on along with everything else. The small ones are battery operated, so honestly we haven't even put batteries in them yet. We'll probably only turn them on like if people are over, because it's a lot of work for every day and we go through a lot of batteries. And next up I'm putting this garland on the top of the fake fireplace. That guy is from Big Lots. This garland I liked, but I do end up adding a couple more things to it. It's pretty full. I think I got it from Home Goods. We looked at a lot of garland before we decided on one that we liked. Also, it was really hard to get it to stay, so I ended up taking some of the branches on the garland and like wrapping it around the back of the TV leg, and that seemed to work. After I had it up, I added some fairy lights that are also in a remote control. We get those from Amazon. I'll link them down below. And this way the garland will also light up. Once I had that, I added some gold picks just to add a little bit of gold to it. The pine cones kind of have some gold, but not a ton. And then I do end up adding a little bit more later with some mini ornaments. Just trying to, you know, pull everything together, make it all nice and pretty. Here's the final effect with everything happy. We do get rid of that orange firewood. I couldn't remember where I put the black one. So that is gonna go. Next up, we're doing more garland. So this is the big garland that goes all around the top. We've done garland every year. We've upgraded. Last year we went from tinsel to this lit garland, and we added a bunch of stuff to it. I think I have a video on that from last year. And this year we're adding even more ornaments. And I'm using the ornament cluster method. I found these zip ties work really, really, really well. So I'm putting 2 or 3 ornaments onto a zip tie and then zipping them to the garland. And this just creates like clusters and just makes it look a lot more full. Also, it makes it much faster because you don't have to like put every single one on there individually. I tried to alternate between 2 and 3, and sometimes it's both gold and sometimes it's 2 golds and a red. Sometimes they're the same size, sometimes they're different sizes, and just trying to alternate so that again it's not totally symmetrical. Same but different is what we're going for. And now we have this nice really heavy garland that we ended up having to put nails in the walls. Usually we use command strips. Last year it kept falling off the wall. It was driving me crazy. So this year we tried the big command strips and it was immediately falling off the wall, and so here we go. If you are going to do garland like this, and especially if you're going to hang it, oh, by the way, that one was missing a top, so I was hot gluing some of them to the thing. If you're going to use garland like this and you are putting it like up high somewhere on a banister or up on the walls, I would recommend plastic ornaments, because listen, I cannot tell you how many ornaments like came off of the tops and like just rolled around, or we dropped the garland and it rolled around, or it fell off the wall. So just take it from me. Use plastic. No one will notice. It'll be up high. It'll be fine. So got all of that done. Took quite a while, and then I went to these little mini ornaments. These I put some on the front. I think they're from Target maybe. But they're just little ornaments, and we just thought they would add some dimension and change up how large, that's what I'm looking for. Change up how large the ornaments are so they're not all the exact same size. Here's how it looks after we got it up. We actually had to put nails in the wall this year, so I don't really know what we're gonna do next year or like when we take it down. So we're gonna have to patch all those holes, but you know what? It looks so pretty right now, and that's what I'm trying to focus on. Here's another look. It goes all the way across. Next up, we're moving to the kitchen and we are getting things cleaned up. I got rid of a ton of decor in general, but especially so many mugs. I got rid of tons and tons and tons of mugs. That was one of my big things. Last year I felt like I was drowning in mugs, and this year I was like, we're not doing it again. So I got rid of tons, and I still have plenty. Let's be honest, like, I mean, look at that. But it's a lot less than it used to be, and that is so nice and so helpful. So I have kind of three little sections. I have Frosty over on the right. That middle one is all like elf themed, and then on the other side, I guess is kind of like baking stuff. We have some like gingerbread stuff, but in general it's just, I don't know, pretty ones. And then I do have some that are in the cabinets, but it is so much less than I should have counted how many I got rid of. It was a lot. Next up, we are putting up these little mini wreaths. These are from last year. I used to have some different ones that were just, you know, cheap. So these we got from, I don't know, Michael's or Home Goods. And I'm just switching up the ribbon because I think they were on red last year, and this year we're putting them on gold. I also have fairy lights already on them. For some reason I only have 3. I thought I had 5. So I just put them up in the piano room. Oh, forgot to mention, if you watch my channel and you notice, hey, wasn't the piano in the other room? The answer is yes. I spared you the first like 3 hours of decorating, which consisted of getting everything out of the attic and then putting up the tree and moving the tree 8,000 times before we decided where it was gonna go, which involved then moving all the furniture multiple times, including all the furniture in the living room, which ended up going to the exact same spot it was originally in. It was quite the ordeal because the place that it's in is not where I wanted it to be. I do really like it because I think it works there and you can see it from almost every room, but wow, it was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. The first few hours of decorating were a lot. So I spared you that. Anyway, so piano is now where the dining room was. We'll probably move it back. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. But got the wreaths up. Next up, adding some just plant stuff to some vases to add to this room. In general, I would say that having floral makes the absolute biggest difference. Like floral and then like accent pillows. If you're looking for, especially like if you're not spending a ton of money, by the way, remember this is over like 6 years of Christmas. It's not all 1 year. And so I have, you know, many things that I've had for a long time. But secondly, if you are looking for like what's going to make the biggest bang for your buck, floral's where it's at. Like add some wreaths, get some, you know, stuff in a vase, and it will make the biggest difference. That's something we have definitely learned this year. We went crazy with floral at fall, and it was so nice and made such a huge difference. So I tried this other arrangement that we had gotten together, and it did not work. So it went right back to where I was. And then I'm going to add just a couple more things to the top of this bookshelf. So I have some little vases. So I got that up there. I have some candle holders, I guess, votives, that are red that I'm going to add up there too. I know they used to have candles. I actually didn't check to see if they had candles in them still. Remote control candles. We're all about the remote control candles in this house. And then I also ended up, I was just like, it needed something else. So I put up one of my little Raydon ornaments. This one is not a cookie jar like my other ones are, but it's just like a little sign situation. But I thought it chimed in with that red and white situation we had going on there. pretty well, and it just made a different shape than the other ones. Everything else was like a cylinder, so this one was more like a circle, and it worked, you know? So here's some stuff on the shelves. Those shelves are going to change a lot, so don't get used to what they look like now. Next up, we are working on these dishes. We got all new dishes this year, so we got we got lots of Christmassy ones. It started with those wine glasses that you see over there that we found at Marshall's, and then or TJ Maxx. And it just started a whole thing. So we got those that have the holly on them, and then later on in the video you'll see we also got some like coordinating ones that are plaid. They're just so stinking cute, and we really worked on the tablescape this year, and it made a huge difference. As you can see, I'm kind of bouncing around, but my next stop was at this little sleigh of candles. We've had this probably since our first Christmas here. Like, we've had it for a long time. And this year, well, for a long time I haven't been super happy with it. And this year, with the color scheme changing, I just feel like it didn't go with the vibe. So instead of getting rid of it, because I do like it, I took all the candle parts off and then I spray painted the base of it. I am obsessed with this spray paint, by the way. It's the best spray paint I've ever used, especially metallic. There's like flakes that come off, like, it's beautiful. Anyway, Mom says that you can fix pretty much anything with spray paint. I mean, that was my whole childhood. So it looks so much nicer now with that gold, like really nice metallic spray paint, and it's beautiful. Next up, we're going back to the kitchen to clean all those things up. So I am, now that I had like decided where I wanted things, I just needed to switch off all my jars. So I put the dog treats in one, the chia seeds in one, the collagen in one, and the peanut powder, which is like, I mean, essentially it's like protein powder, but it's just peanuts, and I like that it's clean. So I just transferred all of those things and cleaned up a bit, and then you'll see that I end up getting a new tiered tray that I'm using, and I just transfer everything over. Now that the kitchen is all done, we are going back to more garland. I originally was not going to put garland on the banister, but I changed my mind. It just really needed the garland on the banister, okay? So we got another piece of garland. This one was plain last year, and so I took some ornaments and went a little crazy. It is a light up one from Michael's. So we got lots of ornaments on there with the gold and the red, different sizes. Did that same like cluster situation, and we'll use those green in a second because we're also doing garland outside, and the outside garland gets big ornaments as well as small ornaments, and we did put green on the outside because it's, you know, not on the inside, so you can't see it, and so it's nice and festive. So this is the one going up on the banister. Here's how it looks. and I do add some bells to it in a minute. Here's me adding all sorts of ornaments to the outside garland, which I am obsessed with. I think it's so cute. The big ones are from Michael's, and the small ones they're all from Michael's. Okay, they're all from Michael's, and it does light up as well, which you'll see in a second. Swapped out the rug. That black one ended up going in the trash because it had passed its days. I get those rugs from Hobby Lobby, and having the two rugs make a huge difference. These little gingerbread guys are new from Home Goods. I just thought they were so stinking cute. So here's the effect that it has. See, if it was just gingerbread, it would have been too small. Added this wreath that we got last year, and we got these bells from Big Lots of all places. They look so nice. So we have 2 sets of them. We have some out here, and then I put some on the garland on the inside as well, and I am obsessed with them. We also got some from Amazon, but they don't look as good. These Big Lots ones, they just look so nice. I kind of want to go back and see if they have more, although where I would put them, I don't really know. I kept moving the stuff on the porch around, so here's 8 different iterations of the porch decor, but here's what we ended with, and I just think it looks so nice. After I got those bells on the other garland, which I think just adds so much to it, it looks so nice. I love how it turned out with those bells. We got the rest of our dishes in, so I added those to the table, so it's now set for 8. I do actually need to wash all those dishes before anyone actually comes, but for now they're just pretty, and I am obsessed with our tablescape. It looks so nice. We added some gold to those things in the middle that we got last year, and I am obsessed with those Christmas tree candle holders. They're so stinking cute. They're from Belk, and I love them. After I got all of that, we also added some stuff you'll see up on the walls, some pictures and a wreath, but cleaned up some stuff, did some dusting, did some vacuuming. Again, this took like at least 3 weeks. Added some pillows and just kind of cleaned up, and then we'll see the end of this. All right, friends, here's the after. I'm still picking away and messing with things. I added the stockings, added those picture frames, but overall, I'm really loving it, and it's definitely my favorite version of Christmas that we've done. Let me know down below what your Christmas theme is, especially if you made it all the way to the end of the video. I love seeing who has watched all the way. Enjoy the rest of the overview, and I will see you next time. Bye.